Welcome to the Orthodox Ethos. I'm Father Peter Heers. Tonight we're going to be talking about Christianities. What's going on with all these Christianities? We have John Heers with us, the host of a new documentary that I'm also involved in. We'll talk about that tonight in just a few minutes. Glad you're with us. Hey, John Heers, welcome to the show.
Am I on here?
You're on.
I'm terrified.
This time you're on my end. I'm usually on your end. It's good to have you over here, and we're talking about
I know
a joint project between the Heers brothers. It's kind of exciting.
Can you see my face?
Yeah, it's kind of dark. You're in a tunnel.
Should I make it lighter? Hold on a second. Say stuff. I'll make it lighter.
All right, we'll do that. I got plenty to say tonight. So most of you tonight, I'm guessing, have seen the trailer. We'll show it again. It's only about a minute and a half.
I'm back.
This time we're going to be talking about a little bit about behind the scenes. We're going to be answering people's questions. If you got questions, put them in the chat box. We're live streaming tonight to Facebook, Twitter, or X, Instagram, Rumble, Telegram, orthodoxethos.com, Crowdcast, and YouTube. So we've got questions coming from all over. We have our brother in Christ, Justin, taking questions from all of you.
Hi, Justin.
Justin's in the background. And, it's been quite an interesting and exciting adventure for us. This is the first time we're doing a documentary, of course. New territory for us. We have created a whole film studio / agency for this purpose, Holy Wisdom Films. And we're also doing a big fundraiser over at Indiegogo. And thanks be to God, a lot of you have responded, and we're up to almost 85,000.
Hey, we got a jump since I checked it out.
85,000. We've got about, I don't know, is it 6 people with us joining us to go to Mount Athos? We've got one joining you to go to Georgia.
One.
I want to talk about that tonight. I want to talk about Georgia and Athos.
Yeah.
It's kind of important. And so that's exciting. And we'll talk about the director. We're going to talk about some of the people we're already going to be interviewing. We're going to talk about some of the philosophy, how this is. I think there's some confusion among our people out there. Like Father Peter Heers is a apologist. He's a
drunk
catechist. He does sometimes polemical stuff like on dogma. And now he's doing this
drinking documentary. You're doing a drinking documentary.
It's apparently we are supporting responsible Christian drinking.
By the way, I am drinking from a glass, but it's water. I want everyone to know that before we get started.
Yeah, it
just appears to be something else. It's not. By the way, I promise.
Gagi Marjos.
Gagi Marjos. You should actually have a proper toast, but I'm joking, but not. I'm actually drinking water. It's crystal clear water, delicious.
I don't know if you saw my interview with my Georgian friends. Just came out on our.
I did see that.
Yeah.
You even gave me a little shout out at the end. That made me happy.
Yeah. I talked to
guys. I want to talk about that tonight. I really do. I want to get into that whole the nature of what that is. There's not that many people that are upset, but I do think there is a conversation about like, why are you starting with drinking? There's a reason. I can get into it. You won't feel better if you don't want to feel better, but there is a way to feel better about that.
Yeah, that's a subtext. We'll get to that. I'm going to take away these. Sure. Everybody knows who we are, so I'm going to get rid of those little tags there because it's kind of
why? Because you don't want them to come for you.
Well, I think it covers up a bit of your of your
stuff.
person.
Okay, good.
Should we lead with the trailer, and then we'll jump into a little about the history, why we're doing this, where it comes from, and
I like that idea.
All right,
Let's do it.
let's start with the trailer. We're going to jump into the trailer for everybody who's never seen it, and then we'll be back in a minute, talk about that. Actually, I want to talk about the trailer first. Like, what is going on with the trailer? Let's check it out.
Do it.
What is a Christian? Marjos. I kind of do this for a living. My name's John Heers, and this is our restaurant. And in this restaurant, we throw this Georgian supra. It's a dinner, and it elicits all these toasts and ideas and emotions. And inevitably, the question comes up, what is a Christian? An evangelist, a missionary, a martyr, a healer, a saint. What is the church? A denomination, a building, an invisible body. What's Christianity? A religion, a way of life, a revolutionary political movement. There's a cultural moment happening right now where the old Christianity has died in many people's hearts. And yet, if you drive around town, you see that it exists. Why is it so different from one place to the next? What you see is not a single Christianity, but Christianities. You see a divided faith, divided by politics, by belief, by whatever. Are you driving by a museum or a social club or something else? What's inside all those buildings? Is there something for you there? Where is God? And if you knew where he was, would you want to go? Is there a Christianity that's growing, or dare I ask, more true than others? We're going to interview people from all over the world, and as we do, I want to go on a journey with you guys and figure it out. Our goal is to investigate how people through the millennia and right now, how they see Christianity. Let's figure out what's going on with all of these Christianities.
All right, there it is.
I do like that. I don't care. It's a little narcissistic, but come on, guys. That's pretty lit.
Yeah, I think we got to give it up to Stephen Scooter Downey.
For sure.
Congratulations. I think he did a fantastic job. And it does deliver what we want this to be all about. And that is what's going on with all these Christianities. This is insanity. Like, this should not be, right? We have one Lord. He says we have one church. He says the gospel is once delivered. I mean, there's something wrong with, obviously, what's going on. It has to do with the world, right? The world is going to hell in a handbasket, as they say. That's got to be related to Christianities with a IES at the end, right?
But it kind of already went to hell in a handbasket. Like, it's never.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't very long after that cats were arguing in what we call Byzantium. Like, it's not. It's a thing. It is definitely a feature of fallen life.
The Lord said, they will know you are Christians by your love. They will, it's, in other words, the Christian salt has to do with the whole world, right? If the Christians lose their salt, then what's going on? It's over. And it has to do with the end of the world too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Christians our apostasy is basically the criteria for the end of the world and the rise of Antichrist. Those things go together. So I think there is a connection. Sure. There's always been a fallen world. There's no utopia here, but there's got to be, like, when you look around at the world, there's got to be a connection to our witness and the state of the world. These things go together.
So are you saying that this kaleidoscope of Christianity that we see all around in all these different flavors and colors and shards and pieces, that is a sign that we're getting closer to something like a physical end of the world of matter? Does that feel correct to you?
Well, I would say that's
a sign.
That's hard to determine. It's in God's province, but if there is, basically the problem is always internal. So when Christians lose the salt, when they don't know what's going on anymore, they don't have the grace. The world's not going to have it, right? So how's the world going to get any help? So it's ultimately an internal problem. The whole
internal in terms of
among
the Christ.
Yeah.
That's sort of that's the, I hate to use the word magic, but that's going to be That's going to be the hard part of the film, as we're finding as we go to book people, as we go to try and make something whole. There's a deep fragmentation in every step we take. For instance, when you ask somebody to be on it, they want to know right away who's making it.
Right.
Because who's making it is going to determine what is called fragmented. Right. You will be the determiner of what fragmentation looks like, because you, in some ways, are the producer, or me, or Scooter, which is interesting. Can we define that? Can we define the whole so as to make the film properly understood? I think we have to, right?
I think there's going to be this both and, as we like to say in Orthodox ethos all the time. It's going to coexist. It's going to be a tension. It's going to be a high wire act to get to the end of this thing, because, we know we're Orthodox. I'm Orthodox. I'm a priest. I think I know, I certainly believe I know where the church is, who Christ is. I'm not Orthodox, didn't leave it all behind because I didn't think this was the answer. At the same time, we're bringing all that to an endeavor which is going to genuinely explore what's going on with all these Christianities and what each one of us has to say. Like, it's one thing. It's like this truth exists. It's absolute. It's in time. It's in space. It's the incarnation. There's no, whether I understand it or not, it exists. It's there. How much I understand and appropriate and assimilate that is a personal question, right? So that doesn't preclude us exploring you and the next person's understanding of that reality. It's gonna coexist. Like we're exploring it at the same time that we're coming from an established position, as everyone who we're going to be asking is going to have.
I would say that. So when let's talk about the origins. By the way, we're kind of doing this together, or do you want me to be quiet until you ask me questions?
No. It's a discussion. It's a discussion.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here's a question. This thing sort of originated, I'm going to call it, in your heart. Or it came floating from the depths of the Orthodox ethos being, that wherever that is. And that thing came out to me, and then eventually to Scooter, I think both of us. So I want to know, did you think you could tell a story about fractured Christianity being who you are and what you do on Orthodox ethos, and the fact that you're a priest? Did you see some pitfalls or some roadblocks right away when you started to imagine such a project? I would love to hear what they are. I think people on here would love to hear your internal thoughts about, I'm kind of a priest. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do this one.
Well, yeah, certainly. Yeah, certainly. Not so much that we can't delve into it and explore it in a genuine way just because we think we have the answer. I think that, again, that's two different things. But I think that I began this whole idea, and I was just I was really inspired and excited about it. Now it's been 2 years. It's going on 2 years. It takes a long time for these things to
manifest. Is it that long since you were talking about it?
Since I started talking about it, yeah. And I guess everybody in Orthodox ethos who's been around knows this, right? We've talked about it many times. So they know this is a long time coming, and it's a process that gets us, it's a dynamic, creative, artistic process. It's going to take a form that I don't even know really what the final form will be.
Are you comfortable with that?
I think so, because I'm not worried. I'm not worried about the truth. It's going to come out. Truth always comes out. If we're sincere and we're not motivated by passions and arrogance and pride. If we're constantly going back,
what about money?
Yeah, no, you can't have those ulterior motives. Otherwise, that's gonna cloud things. But I want to go back to my original vision for this, and that is that we see this confusion, to put it lightly, on the realm of who am I? Am I a boy or a girl? Can I change my gender? Can I become one of thousands or hundreds or whatever it is now, genders? When I saw that, and I saw the exploration done by other people in the realm of documentaries, and I said to myself, man, this question is a direct line, I think, from the Orthodox theological dogmatic perspective, from who is Christ where, who is, or what is the church? Who am I, and what does it mean to be a Christian? All those things. I think the loss of clarity on what those are and who he is has to, by a lot come before the point where you don't even know if you're a boy or a girl, or you can maybe change that around and like recreate that. So I felt like we need to back this up. Like that's an interesting question. Let's try to answer that. I think there's answers for that. I don't think it's hard, but why are we even talking about that? Like, why are we talking about?
Do you think we're talking about that in some ways because we haven't been talking about this? What is a Christian?
Yeah. Well, yes. And we as a collectively, at least in Western society, we don't have a clear answer, or we have come to the point where the answer we have rejected, like we don't believe, or we've rejected the idea that Christ is somebody I need to pay attention to. Like we're far beyond even caring who Christ is. So, but I think that was confused, that was messed up. And that's got to happen if you're going to get to the point where there's a serious identity crisis. Like we have a serious identity crisis on many levels today, not just on the question of boys and girls. Like we have many identity crises.
Right. So you could argue the identity crisis starts with the crisis of identity regarding Christianity and Christ.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. Yeah.
Were you an admirer of that film by Matt Walsh? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Walsh.
I think I was, in the sense that it was bold and it was interesting and it was timely and it was obviously it was provocative and
was it clarifying? I think it was clarifying, although he probably just created hornets on both ends, but that's fine. But it was clarifying, at least if you had something like a Christian template you were working with. I mean, I think it was clarifying for people like, say, like, I don't know, pretty liberal American Christians who were like, I want to support people and not be mad at people, and I want to love people. I think he was clarifying that, yeah, you can do all that, but also, come on, man, like, what are you doing? That's a guy right there. Like, but as a film, I got nervous about it. It felt cruel.
Yeah, it was like a hit and run.
Yeah, like that. And so we had some talks about that, right? Because I think there wasn't the idea we were going to make that film, but there was an idea like, let's expose. But what happened was I started to think about how that would actually work. We could make a film like that, and then the film would be like not very Christian. It was like, got you, yo, got you. No, I nailed that guy.
No. The attraction to the film was not so much, every step of his methodology by any stretch. The attraction to the film for me was he's talking about some basic absolutes. Ultimately, all that was begging the question of relativity of truth, right? That's what was, I think, was on. Right. And that's what I think he did well with. It was like he was pointing to like deeper. He didn't get there though. He didn't try to go there. He stayed in.
It's not that film. It's not
that's not the film. So I think that's where we need to go, and we need to go first and foremost within the realm that's called Christianity, or the many Christianities.
Okay, I got a question for you. Yeah, because you're a priest and you're got a PhD and you're close to the saints.
I feel like I'm getting interviewed by John now. John just gets into he gets into the interviews. He gets into the interview mode.
What do I got? Hold on. People don't even know why I'm on here. They're like, so this is just nepotism. So you just bring a guy and then you put a guy that's your brother in a film. And then we're not even talking about how we're brothers. People are like, I don't even know if they're brothers. So I got to ask a question to keep this thing rolling. But also, you're an expert. No, but for real, I say that out of respect as your older brother. You obviously you have the ability to articulate some deep ideas quickly, I might add. You speak very quickly when you speak, and all of that. And so I ask a question: are you uncomfortable with the notion that you're going to only speak to Christians? But I bet you don't think some of them are Christians. You see what I'm saying? So like, I was like, I think we should talk to Muslims too. And you're like, no, we're only going to speak to Christians. And then I would say like, you mean like some old leftover Huguenots they're not even Christian. So like, I'm trying to figure out if if you see, this is the tension. This is the deep tension.
We're going to be
between
talking.
us.
We're going to be talking to anybody who can shed light on the contemporary understanding of Christianities with an IE.
Whether or not they call themselves a Christian, because I don't think that's going to be your criteria for them being a Christian, right?
Look, there's two different things going on. You've got Christian dogma, church Christian Christ on a dogmatic level, right? That's what I did. I did a PhD in dogmatic theology. That's what they're doing in councils. Church councils are saying, who is Christ? What is the church? What does it mean to be a Christian? That's on a dogmatic level. That's not something I'm coming to like try to learn. I don't think I need to learn that from anybody, because it's already been given to us by the church fathers and the 2,000 years of church tradition, right? So that's not for me. That's
I'm not in for Pastor Jim to tell you about that.
Yeah, Pastor Jim's not going to tell me. By the way, let me revelation here. What they said for 2,000 years is not who Christ is. That's a dogmatic question. The question of the small c and the many small c's and the many manifestations on the historical plane of people struggling to follow Christ, be a Christian. I can certainly say, as a dogmatic theologian, Father Peter, I can certainly say, Alex, I can say you are a Christian, but we have to define terms. The term is that you seek to follow him, you seek to be his disciple, you seek to do his commandments. And therefore, if that's what the definition of a Christian is, I accept you as a Christian. That's different than saying you're a Christian according to the dogmatic tradition of the church, which is not really for me that's not a question for me even to ask, let alone answer. I'm not an authority to give that answer. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So quick question. Here's why I'm asking, guys, if people are wondering. I actually have questions. And I know you're like, well, you should have been on this Orthodox Ethos call every week. You would have learned. I know. I'm out there in the world doing other stuff, which I'm happy to shill for at any moment. Father Peter, give me an advertisement. I want one. But the work that I do is with non-Christians, but all kinds of people, Christians and non-Christians, and all kinds of stuff.
Hey, John, look behind you right there. What is that? Do you know what country that is?
Oh, I can't see because I'm in the way. Oh, it's Georgia, Sakartvelo.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Georgia.
Right?
Talking about shilling for FTF, right? We're talking about shilling for FTF.
I'm going to shill. I want to shill at some point.
We got Georgia in the background, but we're going to go back to Athos until we get
there. Father Peter, we also work in Mozambique. I don't like in other places, Sierra Leone.
Yeah,
we work with Mayans.
We're Orthodox people. We got backgrounds from Orthodox countries. But when you go and you start your little mission down in Mozambique, we'll do a picture from Mozambique.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
That'd be great.
Sounds so great. But I have a question, because I think this is at the heart. Is I know I have a video. I'm going to send it to Justin. I'm going to send the link in the little machine here. It's a video of a guy that when I watch the video, it makes me cry. I don't know if you'll show it. Don't worry. It's safe. It's family friendly. I'm not kidding about that. It's an awesome video. I would actually like to watch it and then have us comment on it. But maybe I'll do that right now if it's okay with you. Does it scare you? Because this is not normal OE like production value right here. Right?
How does it relate to Christianities with a question mark at the end?
Oh, it's going to relate. It's good. In fact, here, I'm just going to send it right now. You guys can do what you want with it because, I don't want to cause problems. But it's a video that is it's very normal. It's from life, and it's a video of this guy. I'm sending it in the chat, Justin.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll put it in.
Okay,
we'll figure it out. Yeah,
yeah, and we'll figure it out. If you don't want it, I promise you, it's about 2 minutes of deeply interesting things, and it's one little event caught on camera. Because I want to ask this question: what do you think about showing it and loading it up? And it's totally cool. I promise you'll like it. I thought about it right before we came on. I'm like, I want to get that ready. So my question is there's this idea of coming. Christ speaks, the only way to my Father's through me. So can you give me an example of through me? Through me. The video will help with this. This is through me. What do you mean? Because I heard you talking to my pals in Georgia, and it was really clear that there was a process for that. And I don't know what it is exactly. My guess is baptism is involved. But can someone act? Can someone obey, say, an act of mercy and then participate in that act of mercy? And in that moment, are they coming through Christ?
You want me to talk about that or show the video first?
Let's watch the video. It's the same exact concept. Is that okay with you? I'm not hijacking it. This is the same conversation. I promise.
All right. Here we go.
And there's sound with it too.
Yeah, no, we got it. Don't worry. We got it.
You guys are cool.
A simple fisherman spotted a tourist and his wife stuck in the river sludge. He rushed to help them and first took their expensive camera and shooting gear to the dry part of the area. He could have easily taken everything. As we see, they were completely helpless. They couldn't have done nothing. They couldn't have stopped him whatsoever. But his virtuous soul was aiming higher than that. He returned trying to save them, but it was hardly easy. The man was old, heavy, and deeply sunk in that mud. Many human beings, unfortunately, if we're in that young man's shoes, they would have taken advantage of the situation. But this young man knew that lending a helping hand to a person in need is a fortune, and that humility is an ornament.
Now watch this.
Then we see he decided to take away the old lady's belongings so they don't get ruined by the dirt. Again, you could have taken the bag with whatever in it. Here he returns again to resume his rescue mission. And this move, in this particular moment here, is by God astonishing. See how beautiful humanity can be. See the marvelousness of selflessness. He ultimately used his own body as a slab for them to
See the
step on.
Christic overtones? Watch this.
He was not thinking about who these people were, what is their origin, what brought them to my country. I think it's in him by instinct that whoever saved the soul, it should be regarded as though he had saved all mankind, as the Quran says. And it shows that he felt towards them as
Look
if
at
they
him.
were his own mother and father,
He's climbing on his back.
regardless of race, color, and religion. And as much as his body was soiled in that sludge, his soul must have been elevating high in the sky, for that's indeed a noble deed.
He's pushing down him into the mud.
And now he made it. Thank you, son. Thank you, ma'am. And that was it. Did he bargain? Did he wait for something in return? A commission, maybe? Impossible. Not this man. This guy is different. Different to those. The world is all about materialistic gain. Now, his humanitarian mission is accomplished. He left with grace and clear, satisfied conscience.
Nice.
So just to clarify, I've used that before. There's a little bit we didn't get. He just walks and gets in his boat again, and he's gone after laying down his body. So I don't think that's a challenge to you or anybody listening. I really don't. But it's difficult to understand how he didn't participate in Christ at that moment. You're going to have a hard time arguing that with me.
Well, it depends what we mean by participation. So there's a clear distinction in the patristic teaching between the grace and the energies of God in all of creation, which sustain and preserve every human being, which is the grace of God. But there's a clear distinction between that and the divine energies or grace of God that presupposes our initiation, our submission and initiation in the body of Christ, and the divine energies that happen through and in the body of Christ, which are meant to internally transform us. So the kingdom of God is within us. How does that kingdom of God enter and reign within us? It doesn't happen through no matter how stupendous or wonderful the moral achievement is of a human being, it doesn't happen autonomously. It happens in communion, and that communion, it happens through Christ and in Christ in the body. That's how he set it up. That's
In the
just how
body, the body meaning the church.
through the mysteries of the church. So,
Okay.
so to say that he participated in Christ, you could say that, but you have to define your terms. Just like I just said, we can call people Christians and talk about Christianity. We have to define our terms, what we mean by it.
Yeah.
And so there's the ecclesiological, Christological meaning of these words, which have an internal and eternal implication, right? And then there's a moral, social, physical, creative application, which do not immediately have that same meaning, but how God will judge that, only God knows. We don't have that information, how God will judge that soul or any other soul who is struggling on, let's say, the human divine divide. He's struggling on the human side to appropriate and assimilate that, whether he knows how or whether he achieves it in this life within the body. That's neither you nor I can really determine that. It's between him and God is working for that to happen. So
this is a dumb question. It's a dumb question, but I think it's a pertinent one for people who, I think we can say, right? Me and you can say to folks listening, the aim is to have like Joe Blow watch this after he gets off of his shift, like on his way, he sees something on his phone and he goes home and watches it.
I wanted to say that. I wanted to say that from the outset because I've had some people writing me. I actually want to talk about one particular person who wrote me today because I think it's important.
Wait, can I just follow up on this idea?
But I want to come back to that because that's important for us. It's for everyone and mostly not for us. This documentary is not mainly for Orthodox Christians. It's mainly for non-Orthodox Christians. That's my understanding of it.
Are you nervous about that? That's interesting. I love it. So you got to get plugged in, man, because you got to come with me to Africa. You're going to learn what not an Orthodox Christian looks like. Because I think the people you're meeting in your life are sort of Orthodox Christians. Like even when they're not, they kind of already are because they kind of heard about you. So what I'm trying to say is we got to get them in, right? Because they're not.
We got to get them in what? What do you mean?
We got to get them to want to watch this film. So this is where the big lasso gets confusing because
see, that's why I ultimately agreed to have the trailer start off with a shot.
I know. That's why I'm so proud of you.
You know, I didn't want that, but I said, okay,
like running to Arizona and hugging you because it's crazy that
but then there's my buddy like Keith. Keith's all scandalized because we did that, right?
So one of your listeners.
Yeah, my buddy, he's like, "What are you doing? Why are you leading with a shot? That's like scandalous for us. It's not good witness."
Can we give Keith? Let's not call it Keith. Let's just call it the person, the people, because Keith isn't alone. I don't think. What are they? Are they upset because it's alcohol? Can we just spend a second on this? Are they upset? I mean, I could take a guess. I always play the dummy. I think they're upset because it looks like degradation or something. Like it's a degraded something. Being in a bar or something is not good.
Well, I think most people, don't have shots. Shots meaning footage of what's supposed to be an Orthodox Christian, whatever, and they don't have it in that setting with that. That's not how it's usually let off. Now they don't live in Georgia. So that's I could excuse them, but I went to Georgia. I went to the Republic of Georgia. I was actually visiting, and I was a guest of the patriarch and I was a guest of the Patriarchate, and we went to many, many places. We went to churches, we went to monasteries, we went to the patriarch's house himself, and we had a dinner with him. And everywhere I went, we drank wine, and lots of it. so I, outside of like, we're kind of puritanical.
Kinda. Guys, we had a whole movement. You might have remembered it. Well, you've read about it in your history books. Like, we didn't allow alcohol in the street. That's kind of an insanity. No offense to anybody. It's crazy.
Yeah. So that's the kind of thing I was talking about earlier, that in the realm of the moral achievements or moral laws or moral whatever, there's only so much you can do to come close to Christ. There's great things you can do, but there is a ceiling, because it's a human endeavor alone, right? That's where the synergy has to come in. That's where the transfiguration comes in. Transfiguration doesn't come on one end. So there's a whole spectrum of that. Like there's the what were they called? The people who were fighting for making it illegal. There was a term.
The prohibitionists.
Yeah, the prohibitionists. There's the prohibitionists who are doing something moral, right? So trying to say like there was a big problem with drinking in America.
Yeah,
probably.
there were good reasons. The men were a mess.
So,
yeah,
and then you got the figure that you just showed us, which is self-sacrifice to a great degree, which is very much a type of crucifying his intellect, crucifying his desires for the sake of his neighbor. So you got the whole spectrum, but it's still in the realm of the human ascent, and we can't ascend to the divine alone. Ultimately, he has to descend and give it to us, and then unite us in synergy. But in any case, I think that's to get back to the question: why do people react to that? Because that's just not scenery that's usually associated with Christian or even Orthodox trailers. I don't know.
Can I say something that's perhaps controversial? It's not associated with trailers of American converts that they want to make because they've left something often traumatic that was very, very, very reformational. So I think we have to really be careful, because in every Orthodox country overseas that I've gone to, it would be very abnormal not to serve wine, and not to serve something like a grappa or something which is chacha, which is what I'm drinking, which is actually made from the grapes of the wine. It's like an external, like it's like an offering from somebody's home. It's one step even further than the wine, because it's something I made from the last drips of my wine, and I want you to have it. And what I'm trying to say is it's often a mark of hospitality, which is of course the mark of a Christian. So I would just bellyache a little bit about that.
Well, and in and of itself, drinking wine or anything is not sinful. It's the sin comes in when you are getting drunk, right? So, and you're abusing it. But in any case, getting back to the question of this trailer is not meant mainly for Orthodox Christians, and this is not an effort that's mainly for Orthodox Christians. As I said earlier, I don't have any doubt where the church is and who Christ is. So this is not a catechetical apologetic for orthodoxy. That's not what we're doing with this film, right? That's not what this film's about. It's a different approach. And so there are people who have been doing Orthodox ethos for 3 years. They're looking to us because basically they came out of the storm of COVIDism, and they came out of the storm of ecumenism, and they're saying this is refuge from the storm. This is Orthodox. OE gives me refuge from the storm. I get these kind of messages every day. I just got one today. Somebody wrote and said, "You guys have been like my support. I don't know if I could have got through the last 3 years without you." So now we're saying, okay, great. But now we're doing something different. It's not for you. It's for the guy who never understood Christ or rejected Christ for whatever reason, or is very confused about who Christ is or the church is.
Is that why you want me in it? Listen, I just want to say something to everybody. I'm Orthodox. I was Orthodox Christian before a certain Father Peter was Orthodox Christian. I lived all over the world, including in Orthodox Christian places. I like and love and have been saved in my marriage through Orthodoxy. I gotta put it all out there. Don't mess with me about that, because I don't like it. It's not cool. Like, it's kind of like irritating. I'm not a priest and I'm not wearing a robe. And yes, I will go to the beach. I have been known to take off my shirt. And in fact, I might even take off my shirt when I go to Georgia in September, because there's this thing called a super where you take off your shirt because you're cooking all day long outside, and the men are all making this thing svadi, and they take off their shirt and they drink to the Theotokos. I'm going to do that. And you can yell at me all you want. Thank you.
Anyway, that's not. No, I don't think that the 1% that's questioning your,
Sorry, I got it out of my system. Rawr. All right, let's get back to seriousness.
Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to talk to Keith for a minute and say, to Keith and all the other Keiths out there, who's a great guy. Keith's a great guy. He's been following us for a long time. He's a catechumen. I love him. But he's like, what's going on with this? And I said, this is going to be good for a lot of different people. It's not for you. It's okay. It doesn't have to be. And we're gonna, go on this journey, and we're gonna find people where they're at. Like Christ came to us when we were not exactly in a good spot, right? Most of us, all of us
Sounds
came.
about right.
Well, there's nobody here, even if you were born in the Orthodox Church, that Christ didn't come to you when you were a sinner. Every single one of us, and some of us really, really bad. So I think that's kind of what I understand. This is an outreach to my brothers and sisters who there's so many people in our society who have no clue what Orthodoxy is, never seen the image of Christ in Orthodoxy, are very confused about what Christianity is, and have rejected it. And I feel like we have to talk to these people. And
we're gonna.
Yeah.
Are you excited to talk to them? Or would you, because you got to listen to them. That's one of the tricky parts. is I know you're very good at articulating an idea, but you got to listen to them. You ready?
Well, the good news is you're going to be doing most of the talking.
And hopefully I'll listen too, because I'm not that good at it.
Yeah, I'm fine with listening. Look, it's
hey, how about this? How about this then? I'm putting it out there right now. Why don't you also do a thing on Orthodox Ethos where you listen to also people who might even call themselves Orthodox that might be not very Orthodox? Say like a Sarah Riccardi Schwartz. What if she came on? Who, by the way, I tried to write her during all that COVID craziness because she was trying to talk to me. I was trying to talk to her, see if she'd come on my podcast. Not because I wanted to undermine you, because I just wanted to do this thing called talk. And guess what? She wouldn't. Maybe there's a thing we should do. We should get those wacky characters to sit with you and your wacky self and talk. What about that?
It's interesting you say that, because I just proposed that to my team like 3 days ago, and we were discussing it, and I was saying, it's a win-win, because look, they're probably going to say, no, I'm not coming on your show because you're just some renegade priest, right? So okay, but then we can say, hey, we tried. So, but if they end up coming, then everybody will hear from their own mouth what they believe.
Yeah.
And we'll have an opportunity to tell them why we think some of it's not so great. Maybe we'll agree with some of it, but probably won't, because we heard what they have to say already. But I'm not afraid to sit down. I'm not doing any ecumenistic nonsense. I'm going to have a
right.
discussion. Yeah.
Can I ask a question about that? That's very relevant to the people listening. Can you just give an example? And I'm just going to do it because I need to know this for the film. For example, I've just been invited to a bunch of guys getting together. Remember, guys, I run an organization called First Things Foundation. I'm often raising money. I am the main fundraiser. It's my job. It's quite annoying and also wonderful. I meet a lot of people. I was invited by a local Greenville guy, very beloved guy who's very faithful in some Protestant variation. And he invited me with a bunch of his friends to get together and read the Bible. Whoop. So it's not at a church. It's sitting together and reading the Bible. I actually have that question. Should I do that?
Did you answer?
I'm not going to give you the, I'm going to keep all that to myself.
Should you do that? Well,
now, hold on. I'm not asking because I'm going to do exactly what you say. I'm asking because when it's helpful when it's an actual situation. and they have they don't only read from the Bible. They get together. They have some club that they do, but is that liturgical?
So back in 1927, Father George Florovsky went to something called the Faith and Order Commission. This was a totally Protestant run thing, right? It was before World Council of Churches. And he sat down and he said, I'm going to talk to them about orthodoxy. And he saw it as a missionary endeavor. What was the problem? Because I think there was eventually a problem. Now, maybe not in 1927 when he first did it, but eventually there was a problem. What's the problem? Is that the paradigm never changed from the Protestant paradigm. What's the Protestant paradigm? There is no identifiable.
The paradigm never changed within the building in which he sat?
No, the paradigm meaning the assumptions and presuppositions of their.
I know what a paradigm is. What I'm asking is it never changed within the conversation,
within the ecumenical movement, within the World Council of Churches, within that whole milieu of discussion, right? It never, to this day, it hasn't really changed.
Okay, but wait. Can I jump in? I get to. So what?
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why I think it's a problem. Now, this isn't exactly applicable to you. I mean, that's different. And I think there is discernment on each case by case basis. And I tell people, for instance, a lot of times they say, can I pray with my relatives? And the canons are very clear. We don't pray with those who are not Orthodox. But I say it all depends on certain spiritual stances of people. Like if you're there and you are giving them what St. Paisius calls the good uneasiness, which we all need, by the way, even baptized Orthodox Christians, we all need a good uneasiness. What does that mean? Because we have this
some of your posts are the good uneasiness.
Yeah. And some of it's really uneasy, but some of it's also like we need uneasiness in the sense of we need to move from our comfort zone. Like everybody in the worldly people who talk about health and all, they all say you got to get out of your comfort zone. This is super important in the spiritual life. And if you're going to be around people and if you give them the impression of that you are at one with them in terms of their presuppositions about what the church is, who Christ is, if you walk away from that encounter and you have given the impression that you are in agreement, then you have undermined any for yourself and for them. So that's what I'm trying to say is with Florovsky and company, what happened was, the paradigm and the presuppositions never shifted.
That doesn't matter to me, that part. The part of him being weak might matter.
Matters to me because I think it matters. I think it matters is if that never shifts, then what we're doing is we're operating on a basis which is just false. It's a false basis.
No, so we're not operating on a false basis.
If we're just assumed and agreed.
We're standing sentinel. You wouldn't expect that organization to ever change its paradigm of seeing the world. Why would you expect that? That's not why you're there.
I get it. It doesn't exactly apply to you, but I'm trying to get to the principle. So on an organizational level, the organization, the Orthodox Church, should never have accepted those. It's like this. In 1968 or 65 or whatever it was, the Orthodox Church and the Roman Catholic Church got into the dialogue on isis oris in Greek, which means on equal footing or equal terms, right? So the minute they got involved in that, the assumption was we're both basically a part of this one church. Ecclesiologically, we were assuming things that weren't true from the get-go. And so there's no way we're going to reach the goal. We're never going to reach the goal if it's a false foundation. So my question to you is, if you're going there, then what are you doing exactly? But if you're just
standing sentinel, you're just standing as a witness. You're being loving enough to listen, and then you're being truthful enough to say the truth in the presence of yada yada. It's the same at a school when you go teach at a school.
So that's why I said in 27 it probably wasn't a problem, but by the time they got to 48 or 66 or 1995, and they've been doing this for half a century. And there had been, then you're actually participating in a compromise. You're no longer witnessing that.
I don't think I would. I hear what you're saying. That makes sense. It feels like the germ game. Like I got their cooties or something. If you stand there now, not everybody can do it because some people are disposed toward sentimentality, but we send the right people there. They stand there and they remind them of the black robe and then they make them kick them out, but not because we were being rude, but because we were being truthful.
So you know what St. Ephrem of Katanakia said once? which is really beautiful. He
What did
said
he
that
say?
there's two things he said about ecumenism and about this whole question of witness among the non-Orthodox. And that the first thing he said was, okay, so people are going to be sent. Why aren't they sending us? Send the people who have experience. He didn't mean like I said me, but he said the ascetics. He meant the monastics, the ascetics.
Maybe that's a good beef. But.
So that's another point I would make. Like, how sure are you that you are up for this task, and what are you going to say? How are you going to react? And so that's a different question.
Talking about the little reading club next week.
I don't know.
Nervous. I'm starting to sweat now that you put it like that.
The second thing he said, which was even more important, saying,
"Can I eat the cake?"
Said,
it's a fasting day, so
yeah. Ooh. He said, "Yeah, there you go.
Fly in the ointment."
Yeah, you might get sucked in, and you're going to start compromising the fast.
Here we go. I'm going to be like, well,
let's start with a prayer. Hey, John, let's start with a prayer. And
when in Rome.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I got it. I'm scared now. I'm literally sweating. Oh no. Okay, sorry, I interrupted you,
but I don't think there's like one size fits all. I think you got to thoroughly ingest the principles, and then you've got to incarnate in that context that spiritual discernment, that spiritual vigilance. And maybe there's cases where it's really beautiful, and maybe there's cases where it's a disaster.
I think both are true, by what you just described, you've just made a good argument to why you actually should sit present. Sit as sentinel, sit Shiva at those. I mixed my religions. Sit Shiva at those places. I feel like you should, although you would be cantankerous, and then everyone would be like, "That guy's cantankerous." But I think you've described you as someone who could go and sit still.
So I went on the Alex Jones show. You know that? Remember that?
Yeah, I got wind of that. And then I started thinking, this is over. This is not going to work. Say goodbye to OE. Say goodbye to my baby.
So that's exactly what I had. This really good friend of mine who's a nun in one of the monasteries. And she wrote me and she said, "I'm scandalized. What are you doing, Alex Jones?" I said, "You ever heard of St. Paul, the Apostle Paul? Do you remember what he did? He got invited to go to the center of paganism. He went to the center of paganism."
I know, but you don't want. But then you won't go talk to some guy over in Florida. I don't get it. You said like you want because you like his politics. That's why you were hanging out with Alex Jones.
I didn't say you don't go.
He's like the right kind of pagan or something.
No, wait. So you gotta have discernment. There's no substitute for discernment. I'm not saying I always have it, but I'm struggling to have it. Okay, so I said to her, Apostle Paul, what did he do? He went to Mars Hill, right? And he sat down with the most. He's a Jew, right? Jews and pagans don't mix, right? And Christians and pagans don't really mix either. So he went there and he said, "I'm preaching to you, the unknown God, etc." Everyone knows the story. My point is that you got to walk this tightrope. It's just there's no way around it. There's a lot of people on the so-called right. They want simple black and white answers because you know why, John? Because they're very insecure. I'm going to say it. We got a lot of autistic, insecure people today.
Did you say autistic?
Yeah. I mean, in
You're
the
super
general
canceled, man. You're canceled.
No, I mean in the general sense. Look, we all got the vaxes back in the day, and they were, so maybe we're all a little bit autistic.
You're definitely autistic. Yeah. Can you own some of that right here and now? Come on, man. Look, guys, you want to hear a fifth grade? You want to hear when he was 5 years old?
No, we're not doing personal stories tonight. Forget it.
Oh, man.
I'm hanging up. I got the reins. I'm ending the stream if you start going down that road. All right. So, but the point is, you got to walk this tightrope. It's discernment today, and there's all kinds of like environments where you don't have a simple black and white answer out the gate, and it's not.
That's ironic. I just want to interrupt you. That's ironic because in the circles I run in, by the way, I go to a RoCore parish, everybody. But in the circles I run in, I travel a ton.
And your priest is a zealot, man. You got a zealot.
He's a good guy. Leave him alone. But he's got his, he's got his stories. So listen, I travel because of this work. And then I go to, I don't know, in 2 month period, I went to like 6-7 different Orthodox parishes, Antioch, OCA, all kinds. It never fails. I introduce myself, then somehow somebody either saw our little podcast or they know my last name, and then it starts.
I'm John. Hi, I'm John.
And then eventually
It's just John.
it
John
boils
who?
into, oh,
John Stewart?
I know your brother. So I get to say this because you guys out there who watch OE, you don't get to say this because you already in. See, but I'm in a different way because I'm related to this guy and I know him when he was, 5, like the story I was going to tell. And here's what I know is I know him deep down. And when I hear about him, usually the thing that they say about you is always the same. Very, very outspoken. Says what's on his mind. Very black and white. There it is. And now you're just about to tell me how you have to be very, why is this a serpent? And that's very interesting because I actually find you that way. I don't find you black and white when I listen to OE and when I listen to what you're talking about. But it's because I know you, and the people who are on this channel know you too, close to how I know you because they sit with you. And I think one of the problems is the internet clips you in a way that's super obnoxious, and it's for their own purposes. Now, you also do some dumb stuff. I'm just saying it from out here in asteroid land. Sometimes I disagree with the way you do things, just letting you know. But that's why our movie is going to be a mess. It's going to be
you don't like the hard
mess.
sayings. You don't like the hard sayings. That come down
I don't.
hard.
No,
come down hard on you.
I don't like when you lean into like
You like
internet
your comfort
pastor
zone.
guy.
You
internet
like your comfort
pastor.
zone, man. That's why. You know what? Get out of the
You
comfort
will
zone.
never be able to speak to all the people all the time. Just please create a library, put your book up in the library, and then just close the doors. You don't need all those comments and trying to talk to people back and forth. Forget all that. That's nonsense. But anyway, I love you.
John wants me. I'm talking to all the 530 people that are watching right now. He wants me to turn off comments. What do you guys think?
Want you to turn off comments.
John wants me to turn off comments, but a lot of the people who are watching tonight, they made comments and we responded to them at some point or some letter or something, right? And so that's one of the reasons why they're here tonight.
I agree. So I just want to say this is important. This is beautiful and also not possible because it's the internet. Okay. So do I think I've created great relationships because of my podcast? Absolutely. The problem is you're a priest. You can't move into some of this stuff in the same way. You can't in the same way that a priest has to. Me, it's different. And the priestliness causes you some problems because you appear close to people, very close because you are, but you're not close enough to be their priest. And you got to get out of that situation.
All right. That's another discussion of the day. We're talking.
Okay. All right. Let's go back.
Christianities today.
Let's go. Right now, everyone's like,
this
sucks. Let's go back to the movie. Okay. Let's
get back to Christianity. Let's talk about, first of all, why are we going to talk to whoever we're talking to? Who do you want to talk about? Like, okay, why is we're talking to who? You tell me, who do we want to talk about and why? Because there's some people are wondering, like, every time we make a statement, we're going to talk to so-and-so. There's people who's like, oh, that's awesome. And then there's people like,
this is great.
I hate this. Why are they talking to him? He's a sellout.
Great conversation. Great conversation. I want to talk to, again, I'm not going to name names, but I know the people. I'm going to types. I want to talk to this person. We can name names, but in this case,
it's probably not a good idea. Nah.
There is a West African. There is a West African and really a worldwide movement, but in West Africa, it's everywhere. And the movement is the gospel of wealth. And it is this hand-me-down from Americanism, Christian Americanism, or as my buddy Seth says, it's a hand-me-down from the Christicans, Christian Americans. And the Christicans have this thing going, this gospel of wealth. And guys, it's super important around the world. It's way more important than you think it is. It dwarfs American Orthodoxy in terms of people's interests in other parts of the world.
Can you define it?
Yeah. The gospel of wealth is the idea that the reason you're going to go there and commune with your fellow Christians at this very, usually a loud church where you're having a lot of fun is because your prayers will bless you with wealth, not spiritual wealth, actual wealth, like magic, like The Secret. And it has its own teachings. the kind of prayers that get the kind of money and the kind of meetings that you have to have in your house after church to bring people in. It's like a pyramid scheme, and it's a real thing. And they call themselves Christians. And these people are powerful in West Africa. These are like mega churches in West Africa. Well, you can argue that we have those here too. What I'm saying is we should talk to someone from that tradition that's very influential. And I think we can. And I have a few people in mind. I think that would be fascinating.
Okay. So
your turn.
I'm going to play the guy on the right. Why are you going to go talk to a bunch of heretics? What's going to be gained from that? Like, why? Like, they can't. That's not going to be profitable. Like, you're going to.
It's a good question. It's good. Yeah. Why would I go talk to a bunch of heretics? One is I would like to educate people on this question. What's going on with all these Christianities? So if you just stick in that space, guys, then the question is, what's going on with all these Christianities? Well, there's one, and he's going to tell you what's going on with this gospel of wealth. And it's going to help you answer the question. Two is I would argue this, is I have a relationship with that world that makes my curiosity authentic.
Okay, so we have to explain that you have First Things Foundation field workers in Sierra Leone.
Correct.
They've been working there for like 3 or 4 or 5 years, whatever it is, kind of close to and around Bishop Themi, who we know. If you know about Missionary work in Africa, he's pretty well known. He's from Australia. He's a Greek. He was made bishop recently. He's been doing work in Sierra Leone for decades.
And Kenya before that.
Oh, in Kenya before that. I think he's an amazing missionary. He's very unique and very bold and very faithful. It's an amazing story. I mean, he's a rock star back in the 60s. He was
actually played for the Beatles.
So an amazing story. Anyway, so your guys are down there working around nearby, kind of you're getting in. I mean, they're working a little bit with Bishop Themi, but mostly.
Well, we started.
But mostly you're doing, the FTF work on the ground in Sierra Leone. So this Mulu that you're talking about is not far from your underground work down in Sierra Leone.
It's in relationship to our work. I also lived in Mali and West Africa. I've been all over West Africa. And so it's a real world to me. That makes it interesting to me anyway, but maybe not to our audience. But our audience are people on the fringes. Here's what I'm trying to say. In our global world with the internet, those people are on the fringes too. Father Themi would love our video to be out there in English, which, by the way, those guys speak English in Sierra Leone anyway. And there's an explanation about all these Christianities. So they count. As Orthodox converts, we tend to get into this.
Yeah, I think we need to say something. This video is going to be, hopefully, it's going to include people like that. And then people like that are going to want to watch it, and they're going to learn a lot about where they are in this big thing called Christianities. And they're going to gain a perspective that they don't have right now. You got to take a step toward them, give them that perspective, then bring them into the bigger world, the historical world, the theological world. And then they're going to maybe start asking questions like, well, this is just a little sliver of this thing. And actually, there's also this whole history of the church that I had no idea about. Oh, there's also this theology I have no idea about. So without it being I think some people are saying like, okay, but that sounds kind of like ecumenism. Like, what's the difference between that and ecumenism? I think there's a huge difference methodologically, but it is, it's moving in a realm that like Orthodox apologetics doesn't go, we don't really go there, right?
It's not ecumenistic, though, to sit with other people who have views on what they call Christianity so that they might illumine them so that we can better understand all the craziness that's going on. If that's ecumenism, we got problems, man.
No.
I don't even know what you would do.
No, ecumenism is, I mean, first and foremost, the one that we talk about most in OE is the dogmatic heresy of ecumenism. That's a very different thing than walking this Joe Schmo down in Africa somewhere. I mean,
let me make a point that I think will help. I think it's the point you're making right now. People forget ecumenism because this is not ecumenism. Making a film where believers of Scooter is our director. He's an Orthodox convert, and Father Peter is a priest, and I'm an Orthodox guy. Making a film a group of Orthodox making a film and talking to non-Orthodox is not ecumenism. If anyone thinks that, that's insanity. I can say it. You can't say it, Father. That's something's wrong with
I
you.
can say it.
That's
I can
not
say it.
normal. That's not normal. Stop doing that. Okay. But
Yeah.
making a film and talking to all those people and then trying to coalesce all their ideas and making them into a beautiful thing where we're all together in one, that probably is going to have the tone of ecumenistic film. I get that.
Yeah.
But what we're going to do is, let me say what we're not going to do. And this probably is what irritates people. This is what irritates people. It's not the ecumenism. It's not the fact that you guys think we're making a ecumenistic film. I think what irritates people, at least in our comments so far, is that in my conversation with, let's call it, Gospel of Wealth pastor guy, I think your viewers and most Orthodox in the country are going to want me to take him on. Here's what I mean. He's going to say something that's clearly not Christian. You guys are going to want me to take him on and sort of pin him down and win. And I'm not making that film. But I will, and Father Peter will, and Scooter will ask the questions that illumine the differences, and then we'll allow the film's beauty and the narration to demonstrate the differences, and then we'll put it in your lap, and you can do whatever you want with it. But I'm not out to take people down in these conversations, because that's not Christian. That's not a Christian activity.
Yeah, and let's look at the life of Christ. I mean, his very presence and his person and his grace and his miracles and his words of themselves made people come to him. They were drawn to him, right? The church's presence, the church's beauty, the church's truth, the truth of Christ, the church, the truth in all the realms, it is in and of itself, it is a magnet. And when you state it, and you state it humbly, and you state it beautifully, you don't need to say much more than that. You don't need to become super polemical for it to be obvious. And here's the other thing. If they don't have the spiritual presuppositions to understand and see that, your polemic is probably not going to get them there either, right?
Oh, I love that.
Right? So it's just more like it could become very egotistical, actually. So I don't see that in my time on Athos with the Athenites and others. I don't see that in Father Cosmas Gregorio, Apostle Zaire. I don't see him going around beating people over the head, doing polemics. I mean, there's like a blood sport of Orthodox apologetics in the Twitter sphere. It's absolutely not what I've lived 20 years in Greece. Like that whole approach is, to me, not very Orthodox ethos, right?
Well, what it leaves that air, that sense of having won in a worldly way. So, for instance, Christ told Peter to put the sword down because he was about to win in a worldly way, but that's not how we win. We win through the humility of the cross. So what does that look like in a conversation? It doesn't mean I let someone trample on me, but it means that I'm in relationship with them. They're not a tool for my intellectual wrestling victory. Like, it just doesn't work like this. At least I can't make that film. Somebody might be able to, but together, I think our tension, though, Father Peter, is what I really want to get at is I tend to be very, very, very sentimental. Like, I was crying during that film with that guy. I literally was crying right now. It's embarrassing. But it was beautiful. And I think do you
need to go and sit at the feet of Jordan Peterson and learn how to be a man?
That dude cries too. But anyway, whatever.
Yeah, he does actually. He does cry a lot. And maybe it's not Jordan Peterson. Who's the masculine guy that everybody needs to learn how to be masculine?
Like Andrew Tate or somebody. I don't know who they are.
Go ahead.
I think that your inclination is not towards sentimentality. I just don't think. I think on the truth and love spectrum, I mean, you're definitely on the spectrum, but on this spectrum, truth and love, I think the truth and love spectrum, we're at opposite ends. My problem is love becomes sentimentality. Your problem is truth becomes kind of cruelty. So I think we have a proper tension to make a proper film. And Scooter,
we should do a poll. Do you guys think that my tendency is cruelty? I want to know that. It's
Come on.
do a
This is
poll.
a
I'm joking,
no-brainer.
man. We're not going to do a poll. Relax.
Don't do a poll. But Scooter is the key that holds this thing together because he has the skill. He has the skill of one who acquires vision. He acquires the images. He has the skill. You don't have, well, although you make nice stuff at Orthodox Ethos. So
you said you liked our 5-minute intro.
yeah, it's powerful. It's great. You know, maybe that's why more men watch. It's very masculine. I like it though. It's beautiful.
All right, so we're going to be interviewing people all across the spectrum, right? We're not going to be doing just one. So we've talked.
You
about,
pick one. John Crowder is
about,
another one. He's a pastor. I said his name. He's a unique kind of Protestant pastor that's shown some interest, and he is very interesting. John Crowder.
Yeah, I don't even know who John Crowder is. Forgive me, John, but I don't know.
Well, that's okay. We're just throwing some stuff around. You say one.
Let's talk about just where we're going to go and why. So there's been some discussion in our meetings about going to outside of Christianity into non-Christian world. And the only person that really intrigues me, frankly, is the cultural Christian atheist in the UK. What's his name?
Russell Brand?
No. He says I'm a cultural Christian, but he's the famous.
Richard Dawkins. Richard Dawkins.
Well, yeah. So let's get
Dawkins.
Yeah, I actually think that this would be interesting because here's my theory that there's a lot of people like him who, on one level, you can feel like he doesn't want to really. He's living off the dregs of Western Christianity and he likes it, and yet he cannot humble and bring himself to say, actually, the person of Christ who brought me those dregs, or at least whatever is left of it, I can't submit myself to him and believe that he is God incarnate. And I think there's a lot of people in the West like that. And I think it would be very interesting to hear him and then without again, we're not going to get super polemical if at all. It's not going to be apologetic like the traditional apologetic. It's going to be like what we said, here it is. Here's the truth. And the truth is going to be in our conversations and our travels and just going to,
that's right.
It's going to be there. So we're going to go to Athos. I want to go and venerate the hand of Mary Magdalene, Saint Mary Magdalene. It's still on Simona Petra Monastery.
Absolutely. That's in the film. That's scripted.
It's warm to this day. You go and you venerate it and it's warm. The hand that touched Christ is warm after his resurrection. Or the ear of St. John Chrysostom, right, is incorrupt. I want to go and talk to. I'm leaving in 2 weeks for Mount Athos. I'm going to talk to the Athenites, try to find us some interviewees. So I want to go from that. We got the atheist in the UK. Maybe Russell Brand will sit down with us. Maybe Candace Owens. Maybe
they're closer
Gibson.
than you think.
Yeah.
Justin Brierley. He's another one. He's a big time media guy in England right now. The Surprising Rebirth of Faith. He's a Protestant evangelical.
We already have an agreement to speak with
Jonathan Pageau
and Paul Kingsnorth.
He's invited us to his house
in the UK, in Ireland.
House.
Where does he live in Ireland?
He's in Ireland.
Yeah. Do you know where? Is he near the monastery up there?
Oh, I got to check on that.
Yeah. So, but I want to see. So we're going to get the whole spectrum, and then it's just going to be beautiful because who's done that? Has that ever happened ever? That where you can sit down for an hour and a half and you can go on this journey, see it all, and I think that it's just going to be okay, it's there. Anybody who's got ears to hear and eyes to see, it's like the Lord said: if you have eyes to see, if you have ears to hear, you're going to hear, you're going to see, and that's it. That the truth will speak for itself.
I think it can't help if we are sincere people. It can't help but bubble up through the three of us, but I could be wrong. Here's another one.
I'm going to be fascinated.
A friend of mine, Joe Pug. Guys, look him. Some of you know who he is. He's a musician. He was nominated for a Grammy last year. He is becoming pals with Bishop Barron. And Joe Pug and I are doing an event in December up in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. And I think that's a connection. Mel Gibson. I still don't know why you haven't reached out to Mel Gibson yet, because no doubt he loves you and hates you. And that's the most interesting kind of person.
I don't have the ends with Mel Gibson yet. We got some people who are going to help us, but
guys, can you help Father Peter, who attempts to be
anybody here tonight that's got ends with people?
You
Let us know.
have it. You don't understand because you're this renegade priest, and I say that lovingly because I know you're not a renegade, but you already have a footprint, so you have to use your footprint to produce this film. You're like, I don't know anybody. Yeah, it takes about 3 letters, bro. Let's go. Go reach out. People will. You have something to offer. Someone who knows someone who knows this stuff. Could you just reach out to Father Peter, please? Could you just do it because he needs your help.
We're gonna do it. I'm getting there step by step. I'm just a donkey though, and people think like
No,
donkey.
you are just a donkey. I get all that. However,
right.
you're trying to produce a film, and I'm not your producer, bro.
Okay, we got it. It's gonna happen. We're new at this, but we're gonna make it happen. So we are doing a fundraiser. Let's
Scooter's
talk about
not
that.
new at it. Scooter's a pro.
Scooter's the man. Scooter's the man. He's done several documentaries. He's working on 2 right now, and he's got some really interesting insights. I think the trailer really showed that he's got some really interesting. Okay, so we do need to talk about the fundraiser because this whole thing, of course, is going to happen by God's grace, but it also by our synergy, right? Our synergy. We're going to have to work together, a lot of us, to make this a reality. And so if you haven't gone and donated over Indiegogo and you like what you're listening to and you think it's a good idea, then you might want to do that. And if you're interested, I want to talk about this for a minute. And I want you to talk about Georgia. And then we got 15, 16 questions we're going to answer.
Oh, Lord. How long am I going to be here?
Yeah, we got another 20 minutes at least. So
you got
to head out?
No, but okay.
We don't do short things on Orthodox.
I was going to say, I mean, I knew they were long, but I'm up for it. Hey guys, sure. Absolutely. Can't wait. But
it's only like 9:30. What time? You go to bed at 10 or something over there?
Yeah. I literally, this is going to sound weird, guys. I'm trying to run a marathon. I'm going running after this, but anyway, I don't want to talk about it.
If anybody is on the streets of Greenville, a good puppy,
they're going to hit me with their car. That's what's going to happen.
All right. So we are doing it for the sake of this fundraiser for this documentary. You have people who want to support the documentary and they want to get all the perks, including the trip to Mount Athos. Head over to Indiegogo and join us. We take you to Mount Athos. I'm going in 2 weeks. I'm taking one of the donors is going with me in 2 weeks. And then we got about 6 more or 5 more donors who are going to go with me in the fall if we don't have World War III.
Impressive.
And so we're going to the desert of Mount Athos. We're going to like 4 different monasteries. We're going to St. Paisius' little Kili where he lived. And I know the father's there. We're going to sit down and hopefully talk to the father.
Wasn't Alex Jones going to go with you?
Alex Jones, I haven't said this publicly, but we were very close to going with Alex to Mount Athos. Can you believe it? Isn't that amazing?
Sorry, I wasn't supposed to say that.
You weren't supposed to say that, but I guess now it's too late.
Whip.
You're always doing that, man. You're like just blurting out stuff.
Sorry.
So it might still happen, but anyway, so that's happening, and we're very grateful to those. I forget what it is. We're up to 5. I think 5 donors now that have given toward this in a big way, and then we're taking them to Athos. And you got one going to Georgia. Tell us what do they expect if they go to Georgia with you?
So I'm taking 2 groups in 2 weeks. I'll be there almost the whole month of September. And we mix it. Basically, when I take folks, it's generally because of our restaurant where we do this unique dinner, and because of a new venture called the Super Dinner Society with Daniel Paternos, who's worked with me for a long time. He's starting a business essentially to help fund our work. We need tamada. We need people who understand the art of the tamada. And I won't go into that except to say it's a Toastmaster, but not like the American organization, not like a Jeffersonian dinner. They're very different. And so to learn how to do it, you need to experience them. So we go, and I try to set up, it's sort of a carousel. You go to a Supra, and then maybe get a day off. And then we go to see the relics and the holy sites. We sort of go back and forth. And so I'm no expert on the holy sites, but I definitely have come to know Georgia over these 20 or 30 years. And so we go to some beautiful monasteries. We see some essential relics. We visit St. Gabriel. We visit Zarzma out in Chaltike. We go to Sketa. We'll definitely the Green Monastery. And so there's things that we do that are very pious or pietistic, but what we don't do is it's not a pilgrimage. So it's not as if you're going to Athos, just calling it Georgia, but you'll see that. But we emphasize how to do a supra. And I try to get my Georgian friends to show us, well, just to do them. And so that's what we do. And you drink delicious wine, and you learn all about the art of how to serve a Georgian table and how to walk through the process of toasting and what they would call the art of the tamara. So that's what we do.
All right,
Oh,
so
look,
we're
there's
gonna
pictures.
see churches like this.
Yeah, that's Ala Verde. I'm pretty sure that's Ala Verde, which is,
And you got churches like that.
yeah. I can't see what it said. No, that might be Ala Verde right there. Forgive me. So there's certain churches that are known to the Georgians. We go to Signagi, to Bode Bay, where St. Nino is buried. The Georgians got into my soul, Father Peter, because I was there during the Civil War in the 90s. And I just fell in love with the hospitality, which is Christianity on some level. Yeah, look at those churches. You can feel them wanting to be Byzantine, but they're really not. You know,
That's amazing. Is that the one where Saint
that's
Gabriel?
I think that's Samiba.
Yeah, Saint Gabriel's tomb is right. No, that's different.
No, this is the new church, I think. Again, my eyes. Oh no, that's an old church. My eyes are
monastery. This is Svetiskovel.
Yeah, so that's Mosqueta. That's the holiest church in Georgia. That's where St. Nino first went and did a miracle that convinced King Marian of Christianity. Yeah.
Look at that. What is that? It reminds me of
That's Varzia. That's Varzia. So those are monks' quarters. Hold that for a second. I can tell you about that. That was a mountain in which all of those caves were buried. So this is on the Turkish road. This is where the Turks would invade all the time. And so in the 1200s, that place, you would not have seen that because all that was removed in an earthquake. So that cliff face fell off. And so suddenly all of those rooms were exposed. And that's a holy site, and it's beautiful. And that was all monasteries. I think Queen Tamar, the time of Queen Tamar, the 1200s, I think that's when most of that was built.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a lavra, right? Isn't that the word the Russians use?
Lavra would be a very large collection of small, like a monastery or many monasteries, small monasteries together, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of what that is. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
So that's nice. So come to Georgia. If you make that nice donation, then we'll just do it. We'll meet a lot of interesting people, both, in the church and outside the church. So I think we should do it.
All right. So Georgia, Athos are possibilities. If you're interested, go over to Indiegogo. Maybe we can put the link, Justin, in the live stream tonight if everybody's interested in joining us, and that's a huge support for the documentary. Obviously, it's a huge amount of money that we're asking, but because that's what it costs to do it right. I mean, I'm just going on what the professionals are telling me. I don't know anything.
Yeah, can I say something about that, guys? We can make it for less. This is the pro stuff, though. This is pro stuff, but not a lot less. Don't get me wrong, not a lot less. But this is pro stuff. This is stuff where Scooter can still do his work. He can give a donate. He's giving some of his time, even with that number.
Yeah,
so
we're doing everything for free, you and I. And so all this money is going to go right to production.
Everything.
Well, okay. Maybe if this thing goes viral, you'll get a couple dollars at the end. But
I don't want dollars. I just don't want to. I don't have to pay for my flight.
No, we're going to cover the expenses, but we're not going to get paid for this. And then because I'm the producer, and that's you got to know that, right? I'm in charge of that. So, but obviously, Scooter is going to get paid for it because this is what his bread and butter is, how he lives. So, but so the money's going to go right to the production, and then the post-production, I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to have to maybe raise some more money because it's going to cost a lot. It's going to cost a lot to do it right. But it also has a tremendous potential, as everybody can understand, right? Far more potential than a book today. It's just the way it is. All right, Let's go. Do we have anything else to say before we go to the questions? Because we got a lot of questions.
No.
Now, I don't even know if these questions, I hope these questions are on topic, right? If they're not on topic, then I'm going to.
Well, if they're not for me in some way,
Yeah,
let's skip to the next one.
let me just say, first of all, thank you to Upcycle Club, gifted 5 Orthodox Ethos memberships. God bless you. And the Orthodox Ethos gifted 5 memberships. And we have Roman Catholic Orthodox Christian became a YouTube member. Welcome. Good to have you. Those are the three people. And I'm assuming that, Justin, you're looking at all the rest because it seems like there's more questions than even the 16 I got in front of me. Question 1 of 2. I think this project will be very important for the mission of the church. I have a question regarding the tone, though. I'm excited about this. So I talked about it to my spiritual father. And he told me he wasn't sure it was a good idea to hide the fact that the film ultimately made case for orthodoxy. But it won't do that in a way that he thinks. As I stated tonight, we're not going to go.
Well, we're doing this video. It's going to be pretty hard for us after we do this video to imagine that it's not orthodox. Like it's
we're not hiding anything, but we're also not going to make the case like he thinks. It's not going to be like there's not going to be like an argumentative apologetic.
Thank you.
So it's not on. It's on both ends. It's wrong. Like we're not hiding it, and we're not doing what people think we might end up doing. We're going to let this beauty and truth speak for itself. We're going to go to Athos. We're going to go to Georgia. God willing, if we get the money, right? It's going to cost a lot of money to do all this stuff. And we're going to interview all kinds of people.
As you think, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, well, you got to raise the funds. So why not say up front that Doc will be for Orthodox mission? Because it's not like that, right? Silouan? Follow-up question on the cultural differences.
Father Peter.
What's that?
You sounded funny. You sounded like reminded me of Pop right there. All right, go ahead.
I do I'm more like Pop than anybody in the kids. Follow up on the cultural differences, including Protestant versus Catholic majority between U.S. and Europe, seem to be a problem for him. Who's him? Oh, for the priest. Americans are the perfect target audience, it seems. Sadly, he did not give me a blessing to tell the whole group of catechumens about the project because of this. Because of what? I'm confused. See what we're dealing with? It's just hard to communicate everything to everybody. All right. So what is the thing that is the obstacle here? Are you following? The cultural difference between the U.S. and Europe seem to be a problem for him.
Well, there's something about the way we're going to, the way it's Orthodoxy is known overseas is very different than the way we American converts talk about it.
Okay. So this is he's coming from Europe and he's saying the way we're dealing with it is a problem for him.
Well, because you tend to be polemic. So I get that. Many Orthodox, I used to have Georgians tell me back in the 90s, they'd be like, you can't be Orthodox. And I'd be like, no, I'm pretty sure I am. And then they would say, no, you can't be because you're not Georgian. That was a real conversation I had on the regular. And I'd be like, they weren't interested in trying to convince me to the point of not thinking I could be an Orthodox Christian, just so you know.
Yeah, but that's is real. Like, forgive me, but we have a lot of sicknesses among the so-called converts, but that's one of them among the so-called.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
it's
not like you and I have all the answers. We only got like 2.
Yeah. Hopefully we answered Silouan. Hopefully we answered Silouan and his father and his spiritual father. You got anything to add to that before we move on?
No.
Okay. Father Bless, have you seen the Bizon Fest award-winning film Sacred Alaska yet, or met with the producers Simon and Silas?
I have an answer.
Would you consider future collaborations? Let's hear it.
That answer is yes. He is coming out on my podcast called Heavy Things Lightly, which is a conversation about the old world and the new world with Orthodox undertones. He will be coming out next week, and he is fantastic, and he has many lessons for us. And that was a great question because it's right in the wheelhouse. My hope is Father Peter will talk to him.
We already are. Are. Yeah. So we got it. Should I go to stay at Mount Athos next summer as somebody who's 7 years a Christian, but recently only joined the church? People do it all the time from all over the world. Mount Athos has people literally from all over the world there all the time, including the summers. So I don't see why not. Do it. You got to be patient and humble because it's hard because it's not in the language you speak. Probably the high number of
Christians.
A Slav. He may be, yeah. That's true. He does Slav plays games, so maybe it is. The high number of Christian variants has been used as an argument against Christianity being the truth. If true, why so much dissension? That's something we're going to talk about probably, right?
That's really, that question from Athenite is at the heart of the matter. Yeah, I don't think a high number of anything argues against the truth. I think it's a normal fallen human endeavor is to split and split and split again because of pride.
And it's kind of like this, when people say, I have people say, Father Peter, my priest did X or my friend did this, and I'm leaving the church because of that. And I say, well, that's kind of dumb because I'm not here for your friend or your priest. I'm here for Christ. I thought Christ was true. I don't know why. Because of my sin, I mean, I get it, but we need to make a distinction between those on the path who are filled with the old man, struggling against it, fallen, and the one who's calling us to the fullness and the healing and transfiguration. The doctor, like, oh, I'm in this hospital. The guy over there is sick. I'm leaving because the guy's sick. I mean, I thought I was here for the physician. The physician's the one I'm interested in.
That's the best. It's the best metaphor.
Yeah,
because it's really accurate all the way down. That's a deep metaphor.
And so it's the same thing with the church and the same thing with Christ. Of course, I would say that one of the big problems that we're going to encounter we encounter every day, and this film will encounter is there a differentiation between Christ and his body? Because there seems to be that assumption in a lot of what is the so-called Christianity or the Christianities today, that you can say, I am a Christian, I follow Christ, but the church, the body, is not Christ. In other words, not united. It's not one. All these attributes of Christ. The church is not those. That's a big part of, I think, why behind the whole question of Christianity. Is that true? Is that right?
But that's what we have to take on, and we can try to answer it all right here. But I don't think it's a great idea. No. Although we can't. I really want to do this question. Can I read this? Forgive me the question one from Nicolas. I have it here on my private chat. Justin gave it to me. Forgive me. The question is, will the movie give people choices, or will it direct people to the triadic God? From Nicholas.
Okay.
I don't know. I love you, Nicholas. I don't know how it would do anything but give people choices. How could it not? The question is really good. I hear it all the time, but it's odd. If you mean, will the movie have a conclusion? The whole goal is to have people walk away wondering. And that means there has to have been something foundational. Otherwise, it's just a series of images. And so, yes, it will give people choices because that's the nature of our humanity. We choose all the time. And I really think this question goes to the heart of something. And I think, I don't know that Father Peter will have a big problem with this, but there is nothing but that. There's no other way to make a film. Now, if you've ever watched a film, you disagree with the conclusion. If you've watched it, if the conclusion is very, 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 very clear from the outset and all the way through, you probably won't make it to the end of that film, especially if you have a disagreement with any aspect of it. In other words, it's bad art. It's just bad art.
But it's also bad missionary evangelism. And I'll tell you why. Christ stood before Pilate. What did he do? He asked a question. I mean, Pilate asked a question and he answered the question, but he didn't, that's it. Like, he left Pilate to decide. Pilate had to do it. He was free. Like, people went to Christ, the rich man, and he said, what do I do? Christ said, well, do this, this, and it. And then the guy said, nope, can't do it. And he walked away. He went to his own apostles and said, who do you say that I am? And he went to him and said, you got to eat my body and drink my blood. And they walked away and he left them. This goes to the question of freedom as well. Like,
but I want to say, Nicholas is asking this question like I think most people think today, which is, if you can just say it all right, you'll make it so that you will have nothing but that one answer left at the end of your exposition. And that's not going to work. It's not how life is. It's
and it's not going to work in a documentary film that you're exploring these things. And it's like a treatise. You want a treatise in film.
Well, you can have it. If all you got to do is watch any movie from Hollywood. It's a movie. It's a story. But right away, you already know exactly what they're trying to hit you in the head with. And so you could do it that way. And you'll leave people without a choice at the end. It will not be, as you said, Father, it won't be good missionary work, because missionary work, like all things, is art.
Yeah,
art is beauty. Art is the exposition of beauty. It's showing beauty. You have to show beauty. You can't make an argument.
Yeah, it's not on that level. But also conversion isn't even on that level. I don't think ultimately people come to Christ or the church because they got argued into it.
Jay Dyer might disagree with you.
No. They're already... No, there's an intellectual discussion. People are believe, they come to a conclusion, but deeper down, there's something else going on in every person, and they got to go deep.
I'm with you.
If they don't go deep and they don't have that heartfelt internal, that good uneasiness that leads them to compunction, contrition, repentance, that intellectual change isn't gonna, like, that exists to get you to protect the truth and to convince you of the truth, but that's just the beginning. That alone ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So I think that it is a very good question. It cuts the heart of the matter. And we could go on. All right, let's go to another question.
Is this from Elizabeth Heers?
No, I got this one going on. I think we're here, aren't we?
Justin Vaughn is an American. Oh, you can read it. Sorry, it's your show.
This is given to Justin from John. John's asking, is America a pre-Christian society since it's never been baptized in the Orthodox Church nor had an Orthodox leader?
I love this question.
Do you want to answer it?
Yeah. Oh, sure. I can answer it?
Yeah.
Okay. This is a great question. And it really goes to the heart of our movie, which is, can a country founded by fundamentally non-Orthodox people and then intertwined with New World Enlightenment values, can a country that is dominated by those two strains of thought and being, can it be called Christian? It's no different than the guy I showed you walking in that mud. Is he a Christian? I think he was from Thailand, and I'm pretty sure he was a Buddhist, but I don't know because I don't know. Is he something like a Christian? And so the real question is can our film show that this country is filled with something like Christians? It's going to be really hard, but there's some, if you get past the husk, if you get past, and that's what the film has to do. It has to clear out all of these misunderstandings, and it has to clear it out in a beautiful way that invites people in, not pushes them out. And I think in the end, you would answer something like, it's a Christian haunted nation. Christ is in and about. And that's the way I'd answer it. Like, for instance, if you go to parts of where we work, I don't think you would say some of the parts of where we work are Christian haunted. It never kind of went that far. It was colonial Christianity that barely touched some of the villages we live in. Like you would go, this village is not Christian haunted, but America is on some level. That's my answer.
Okay. I'm going to keep going because we have a lot of questions. Will the documentary crew visit monasteries in America like St. Herman of Alaska in Platina or St. Anthony's in Arizona? I think we're open to it. I don't think we've made those decisions yet, have we?
There's a list. Athos is kind of the dominant, and Georgia are the dominant Orthodox moments. But I think we should visit. Well, I also am pushing, and I want this, Father Peter. I want man on the street interviews. So I think those are going to make it in. We could do man on the street interviews at a monastery. That could be pretty cool.
Yeah, I want to go outside like something like that happened a couple of weeks ago, but in different settings, different Christian denominations. There was a massive gathering of post-Vatican II Roman Catholics at a Eucharistic, what was it called? I don't know. Eucharist.
Oh, that was
something.
called the Conference of the Eucharist or something. Yeah, I heard about that.
So,
Why wouldn't we go there? Count me in.
I'd like to see what they have to say, and then let them put forward what they understand it means to be Christian, what Christianity
Guys,
is, and all
I'm
that.
going there and I'm standing on the street, and I just want everybody to know this. When I get to the conference on the Eucharist, guys, I'll stay at cheap hotels, and I'm not going to take a salary. So, like, this is a really good deal for anybody trying to make a film.
So, what is Christianity going to be defined as in this movie?
I'll let you handle that one.
So it's going to be stated by the people that are being interviewed. It's going to be stated.
Oh, great answer. I thought that was going to be a fight. Hey, well done. Look at you. You're a humanist. Yes.
I'm not a humanist. No. It's going to be stated by the people who are being interviewed.
New age Father Peter.
He'll be stated by the people on Athos who are going to be interviewed. It's going to be stated by the people at St. John's Tomb in San Francisco who are going to be interviewed. It's going to be stated. And the person's going to walk away having to have either ears to hear and eyes to see. That's the question.
This is good. I knew there was a reason I was working with you.
Besides that, I'm your brother. I have one question, Father. I haven't been able to go to a liturgical service yet. Should I go to the Saturday Vespers or just go to the liturgical service? Go to the Saturday Vespers. That's where you start. You've never been? Go start with a Saturday Vespers or Vigil. Talk to the priest and then go from there.
Yeah, I have a sort of just the Joe Blow answer. Vespers, man. Always start slow. Go to Vespers. Just stand there.
Dennis Bryan says, so if an Orthodox person does not have fellowship with non-Orthodox people, then how does the world learn about Orthodoxy? So the question is what we mean by fellowship. Yeah, we're going to definitely mix it up with all kinds of people. It means what you mean by fellowship. Usually fellowship means communion. So there's a discerning.
Not
in the Orthodox context, but in a general larger context, if you mean by fellowship, you mean like mixing it up, talking. Yeah, I agree with you.
Well, that's why it starts. I love Dennis. Dennis, that's why it starts at a restaurant with the guy drinking with his friends. Yes. Yes.
Do Athonite monks know any English? There's all kinds of Athonite monks who know English. I mean, not tons, but I'd say most monasteries have one English speaker, if not more.
I like that question.
Yeah. Please ask Father Peter if Professor Lennox could be interviewed. Yeah,
great. I love that.
Yeah, I know Professor Lennox. Yeah, that'd be good.
Wait, which Lennox?
The one in the UK who's like defends against evolutionism, right?
Oh, you should definitely. We should get. Yeah,
we go there. We'll talk to Dawkins. We'll talk to Lennox. We'll go to Russell Brand.
I know the guy that interviewed all those guys, Justin Brierley. He's kind of my friend. Not really at all, but he likes me. I like him.
About the documentary, I thought you'd be interviewing the top dogs of the various Protestant groups and the 1,000 Roman Catholic traditions, or even other groups that call themselves Christian.
We will memorize scripture. We will,
and then show why Orthodoxy is different. But it sounds like the documentary will be more like a man on the street conversation. Question: will this be interviews and conversations with leaders and various Christian leaders to explain their positions, or a man on the street type stuff?
Great question.
It'd be both, right, John?
We had this out during our pre-production meetings, and it's got to be both. I was the guy for Man on the Street. My brother was just get all the eggheads. And what I realized is it's got to be both. And by eggheads here, I just mean folks whose head is always in the Christian world of ideas.
And we actually initially started out thinking we're going to go to like representatives, apologists, theologians, and we all decided that's not a good idea. Like we'll go to some of them. Yeah, we'll go to some of them, but we're not going to exclusively go to them because we actually think that, well, you explain it, John, because you're the one who kind of made the case for that.
Well,
to get it broader, right? Yeah. To have people who are like popular representatives of the various traditions, not just the academic representatives.
It's about the telos. It's about the goal, the direction this thing is going. This is a hard thing for us to remember sometimes. It's going to the point where your nephew's 14-year-old wants to watch it. So that's not easy, but it's easy if Taylor Swift is one of the guests, and you'll be like, Taylor Swift should not be on this. I agree, Taylor Swift won't be on this. My point is someone who can speak that language needs to appear in our film and say words that have intelligence. And so it's why, because that's the point and the goal of this film. Not every film, this film. And so we have to do it. We can do it, though, without dumbing it down. You'll see it's possible. There are good examples out there.
Yeah, we're going to have the whole I think we'll have a little bit of the whole spectrum. Obviously, if we're going to Athos, if we're going to...
And some humor. Why wouldn't we laugh a little bit?
Yeah.
We got to laugh a little bit.
Father Peter, please include John Lennox for an incredible intellectual response in Cambridge and Oxford, biggest Christian fighter. Okay.
John Lennox.
We already talked. Okay.
He's great.
Father Peter, our interview is going to be selected from the major Protestant sects, SDAs, JWs, charismatics, evangelicals.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. What about contacting actors who've been blackballed from Hollywood for their Christian beliefs? Like Mel Gibson.
I have that on our list. Yes. I really like that idea.
Might there be a conversation surrounding Orthodox ethnic exclusivity, phyllotism, and its heretical nature? This may be relevant versus vitalistic, hereditary, cultural tensions, rise, cross. What's the cross thing about? I didn't get that. Is that, there's supposed to be, I think, a symbol there. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you understand the question?
I fully understand this, and I love this question. And so one of the things that tends to happen is there tends to be a moment in Christianity with Christians, especially Western Christians, where ethnicity becomes sort of a pathway into understanding a person's true Christianity. You can call it whatever you want. I'm married to a Black woman who goes up to communion in ROCOR parishes, and it always gets just a slightly different question than I get. It's like the implication is she might be Ethiopian, or she might be not. It's not racist. It's not angry. It's a different type of gate than I would get. Now, what happens is, and I think the question's pointing toward this, is do we sometimes allow that to creep in terms of exclusivity? For instance, there's a whole argument, and I lived in Ethiopia for a very short time when we started to do our work. There's a whole argument about that. Part of the reason Ethiopians are outside of what we call canonical Orthodox Christianity, part of it is because at that time, even they were outside of the Greek world in a Black way. Now, I don't buy that argument fully. There are arguments like that that have some traction, and they probably need to be spoken of on some level. They're serious things. I mean, the Greek world that sort of was holding these ecumenical councils, as you know, Father, there was an argument within the political sphere at that time about who was in and who was out politically. And they tended to be not race-based, but culture-based. And so I actually really think that's an important question, and I will delve into it.
Okay. So we're here now. We still got some more. There's just adding more and more. I don't know if we're going to be able to get to them all, but we're up to 32 questions.
Wait, really?
Yeah, we're almost
Do
done.
these guys not want? They want me to fail at my marathon.
Look, it's just another like half an hour.
No
it's
one
not
cares.
a big deal.
What?
Surely there are non-Orthodox that love Christ, but are there non-Orthodox Christians? I don't know what that means.
Surely there are non-Orthodox that love Christ, but are they non-Orthodox Christians? So if you love Christ, is that enough?
I think we answered that earlier on. Maybe she wasn't, or he, who's ever asking, was not a part of it. But I don't know if we need to answer that tonight.
Okay, well,
I don't know. Do you want to jump in?
No.
Jeff Calvin.
Wait,
to be an Orthodox Christian, just like the incarnation, is a particular thing in space and time. It's not just that I desire it. Like, it's not will to power. I believe, I love, therefore I am a united Orthodox Christian community of the mysteries. Like, there is a scandal of the particular that has come down to us through history. Whether we like it or not, that's a part of the hard saying of the incarnation. That doesn't mean that we're then therefore judging or condemning or standing in any kind of position of insider knowledge on anyone. But it's what has been revealed to us, that we are vigilant to maintain and receive and protect, right? So that has to be we didn't make this up. Like, nobody could have made Christianity up. There's no way. So this has been revealed, and whatever's been revealed, we don't have the freedom to just like tweak with and say, because I really, really, really love, therefore I am. No, it doesn't. It's not that. It's not enough. It's a synergy of God and man, and we unite. We meet him in time and space. Where is that? It's the body of Christ. Anyway, that's at the heart of this whole question of Christianity. So I don't think we can answer it unless you want just a.
Well, no, you did just answer it. However, I'm not sure that's even his question, but keep going.
Okay, well, I don't understand this question then. What is it?
Who do people say that I am? Who do you say that I am? That's good, Jeff Calhoun. Tell very different questions. And I think that's one of the differences, because the church is going to come into play there. There has to be a conversation about what the church is in this film. And there is, according to our show notes.
Are you planning to do some filming in Romania, being that it has such a long history of diehard monasticism?
That'd be great.
I'd love it. It's called Finances, and we'll see what happens, right?
Yeah.
See what we can do.
It's about creating that final budget.
We have the people, we have the contacts. We have all kinds of possibilities in Romania. It's not hard. Just going to have to get the crew there. Will you reach out to Reverend Calvin Robinson? Actually, I just mentioned this to John, a week ago, John. I talked about him.
Yeah, you did.
We're going to be in the UK. If we're going to be in the UK, we'll try to hit a bunch of people at the same time.
We will be in the UK. So
his story is very interesting. I recently saw him on Dr. Terry Marshall's channel, and he took up a stance that seemed pretty orthodox to me. Yeah. Are you going to have Kent Hovind included in the documentary? I don't know who that is.
I wish I knew. I don't know who that is.
I don't know who it is. Let's make a note of it and find out who it is. My mother doesn't want to leave the Baptist church because it's the theology she was raised with and is comfortable with. How can I convince her to explore orthodoxy, considering it? Watch the film.
Well, I guess that's one answer.
I answer these kind of questions like every week. So
I would just say, make her really good soup and be kind, and then pray for her.
Yeah. It's going to be, we can't convince people. Actually, they're free. They have to have a moment where they say, I don't know. I need to understand and listen. Maybe I don't have the answers. There needs to be this moment that they have to come to, I think.
You sound like a regular old new ager, man. It's impressive. This is good.
It's not a new ager. What are you talking about? Our Father prayer uses debts and debtors. Why in our morning prayer and evening prayer uses the trespasses version from the Orthodox Study Bible? It's wrong. Trespasses is not what the Greek says. Sorry to spoil your dinner tonight, but that's not what it says. It says debts, clearly. I don't know where trespasses come in. There's actually the interesting story about that. Some people speculate that there was debtor's prison at the time when they translated the King James Version. And the people in power didn't want to imply that they should free everybody from debtor's prison. So they translated it as trespasses. I'm not kidding.
It seems true.
It seems like that could be behind it because it clearly is not trespasses in Greek. Father bless. I'm participating in my first communion since baptism 33 years ago this Sunday. Whoa, wait a minute. How did that work? Father George in the parish I now attend said he has known you 20 years. Thank you for your help guiding me back to the church. Glory to God, Nick. And thanks for the donation.
Thanks,
wonderful.
Nick.
It's fantastic. Thanks for letting us know. And it's a wonderful thing. And God to help you and bless you. Will you interview the prominent Catholic like Joe Biden? Yeah.
Crispy Johnson made my night. I love Crispy Johnson. Dr. Crispy Johnson made my night.
Yeah.
Yes.
Joe.
The only problem is we couldn't interview him because it's not going to make any sense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hope he's still around when we get to him, but he might not be around much longer.
I already made a bad joke about him. Listen, Crispy Johnson, Catholics, yes. My super goal is to sit down with Bishop Barron. I'm working on it. But first we got to, anyway, yes.
All right. I think this is the last question, John. Oh, wait. We haven't even gone over to the crowdcast questions. Let's see if we're over there. Hang on.
Amazing. Everyone loves you.
No. Let's see. We got crowdcast. We got 2 quick questions. Forgive me. The question is, will the movie give people choices?
No, I already read that one. That was from Nicholas.
Sorry, that was brought over and put there. Okay, that's it. Last question, folks, and then we're out. And thanks for joining us, John. It's been good.
Did I screw stuff up?
Actually, since I said that, 3 more questions came in. Do you believe it? Crispy says, will you do short streams on the road from UK, Greece, Romania? Short streams. We're on the road.
Yes.
That'd be fun.
Yes. This guy is understanding our film. Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah. Father Peter, will controversial sex be interviewed like gay church, race-based churches, those with sinful elements?
See that we also have a couple LGBTQ plus.
Okay, we only got so much time in the interview in the documentary, John. So
no, but how are you? Listen, guys, you got to understand we're building the list, but on the list is that type of pastor. Of course, you got to have that pastor on there. I mean, of course, not because you're in agreement, because that's the nature. We're going to include that, but it's gonna make itself clear. I think it's a very good idea. We'll probably battle it out. Wait, did I shill for first things yet? I know people are giving to the film.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Right after this, we still got 714 people watching, John. So don't worry.
There's so many nice people.
Hi, Father. I want to convert to Orthodoxy. Should I go with Greek, Antioch, and Arokor? All 3 parishes are near me. Are they all in good standing? As far as I know, they're all in good standing. You got to go and see. It's called come and see. That's what the Lord said, right? So go and see, check it out. And what you want is to be in a place where they're struggling to be faithful and follow the Holy Fathers. That's what it's all about. So I can't tell you further. Beyond that, you got to go and see. Can't answer that for you. John, what are you doing with First Things?
First Things Foundation is a Peace Corps style 2-year immersion program built on an Orthodox Christian chassis. Very much like our film. It allows for people to go for 2 years and serve some of the toughest areas in the world. Mozambique, Sierra Leone, the Georgian Republic, Guatemala. Previously, we were in Appalachia. And our work essentially is to identify local people who are really, really good at being a problem solver. We would call them entrepreneurs here in the United States. When you locate those people, they often never went to school. They don't read or write, but they have great, brilliant ideas. You guys know being smart has nothing to do with going to school, right? Everybody knows that. But when you find these people, they are the engine for beauty in their own communities, and you consult and you engage, work with them, consult, and move resources to them. And then what happens is that community is benefited by us having been there. We don't bring our ideas to them. That is gross. We allow their ideas to breathe, and that is Christian. And so that is what we do. We do it all over the world.
I'm a young 20-year-old. I'm looking for
I need people right now.
I'm a 20-year-old. I'm Orthodox or I'm not Orthodox, whatever. I'm looking for basically something that's going to challenge me. It's going to build me. I'm also going to give to somebody else, and I'm going to learn a lot. Is this basically, what else can you say? Who's the person that's going to join and go to Sierra Leone?
So the person that we're looking for right now, we have spots coming up at the turn of the year in Mozambique, spots right now actually in Sierra Leone. The person who wants to do this is mostly young men, but the women too, we've sent. The people that want to do this are people who say, I don't want to write a check. I want to be the check. I want to actually provide my life as an instrument to others that I can help them. So a lot of people are kind. Not everybody has the same role when it comes to helping other people and helping the poor. This is a role that is actually in the mud, like that guy. And in the mud, what happens is you're transformed. You become transformed. That's why we attend to the spiritual development. In other words, in Peace Corps, I went for 2.5 years. No one ever once spoke about my soul, not one time. But my soul was changing. Everything inside of it was embroiled in transformation, but no one ever explained it to me. So I came back here. I started looking for. I really wasn't even a Christian. I wasn't participating at all. Muslims had convinced me of many things that were quite beautiful, and some of them that I didn't agree with. And so I started searching. But it was my ability to be in that situation that set me free from so many presuppositions about what a Christian is and what life should be. And it gave me freedom to choose in an earnest way. And I found the Orthodox Church, but because I was free, it's so beautiful to be able to just serve somebody for 2 years. So we offer that opportunity. It's very ascetic. You get typhoid. I mean, not always, but you get malaria for sure. And you get sick, you get lonely. You have to learn a local language. But when you're done, man, it's like a Navy SEAL of love. How about that?
Beautiful. All right, before we head out, we got to show them this. This is the Indiegogo page, Christianities feature documentary. You go here and you learn all about the film because it's got the trailer, but it's also got the synopsis, right? Why does the film matter? Search for authentic Christianity. Shallow Christianity is dying. The search for historical and intellectual continuity. We're addressing the divisions within Christianity. We got the team here. Here's Scooter. Everybody who wants to know who Scooter is. We got the cost breakdown, and then you got all the perks, right? You give a donation, you get a perks. You get digital copies. You get see the film first. You go and you see bonus footage and bloopers. You go to a Q&A with the filmmakers, private screening, and the release event invitation. You join us on location. Join us on location, right? And then you got the producer credit. If you give a big 8,000, you go to John here, go with John Heers to Georgia or me to Mount Athos for a big whopping 10,000. This is the page that you're going to want to visit and then also tell everybody about so you can support the work. And this is the link right there. Indiegogo, Christianities feature documentary. Thank you very much for joining us.
This is kind of fun.
For being here. I think it was pretty great, pretty productive. We hit a lot of things. So. It's actually kind of good for John and I because we don't have much time to talk about this.
Hey, stay on. I'll talk to you about Mom. I was having a thought. Come on, man. This is nice. Thanks. This is great. We kind of intertwined our work and our life, and it was beautiful to see you. And we didn't fight.
Yeah, but we will on the film a little bit. I guarantee. Hey,
I know.
Antonio says, "Are we going to interview Archbishop Vigano?" Man, this guy's like a legend in the hardcore Latin Catholic world. You been following him?
No, but I have many of our supporters are Latin Catholic. Not many, but some. And I'm going to throw a capey with them.
So
in Canada.
Mel Gibson's like
they love him.
They're buddies. Him and Vigano are like, you know.
I know. Well, why can't?
They both say that Francis has lost his marbles and he's not the Pope, basically.
Listen, here's what we're going to do, man. We're just going to, it's 6 degrees of separation. With you, it's 3 degrees. You just got to work the 3 degrees. But Mel's coming on the show. There's no doubt about it. Also say prayers, man. I'd like to hear from Mel Gibson. You would also increase our viewership. How about that?
That would help. All right.
His beard is thicker than yours too, which is definitely helpful.
A lot thicker. That's not hard to do. John, yours is okay. All right. Yeah, pretty good for.
Someone's got to be on film. Can I hang up now?
It's time to go.
Are you saying a prayer? Are you saying a prayer now?
I want you to take a shot though of your running like down the street with your wife, your mobile phone. Give me a shot, like.
I thought you said a shot. I thought you were going to get in trouble now.
When you get back home, you didn't get mugged or anything. Give me send me a shot.
Okay, I'll send you a picture from the street.
It's been good. Thanks for coming on. This will be, maybe we'll do this again. I think it's pretty good. And,
I enjoyed it. I did. I thought we might mix it up a little bit more, but I didn't want to. So I'm very thankful. Guys, thank you. Thank you. It's odd. I do this all the time where I'm in front of people, but because of the restaurant, but I'll just say this has been a blessing. And I just enjoy so much everything that you guys that's a part of Orthodox ethos, even when I'm not in it. Father Peter, I support you. There are times when it's hard, but I support you and keep going.
Thank you, John.
Bro.
I appreciate it.
God is good. God is good.
Yeah, I know you got, when you go into those parishes and they're like, John Heers. That's a familiar name. You're not that crazy renegade priest brother, are you?
Are there still 700 people on? Because I want to ask the 700 people this question.
738 to be exact. Yeah.
738 people. This is a question.
There's more. That's only on 4 of the platforms. There's probably about 800.
I know. By the way, when you listed the platforms, I almost fell asleep. It was such a long list. Oh my God. We're on. Turn the comments off. But here's my question to the 738 people. And I mean this. This is going to, I'm taking a shot. I'm taking a shot right now. I don't know how many of you are in Greek churches, but I want to say something. If you go to any particular little region in the United States and you find 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Greek churches, there's more money in those 10 Greek churches than any 10 churches anywhere in the whole world. Okay. What are Greek people doing with their money? Is it just always reinvested so that there's more money? This is not Christian. Greek priests release the Kraken. Let the money out. There'll be more. Let the money go. Give the money away. Do it now. I don't care if I'm in trouble with every Greek priest. Right now, go in and write a check, not for the stuff that's in the bank account, for the stuff that's in all the other bank accounts like BlackRock and all those places. Write the checks. Do it right now. I know a place you can write it to. John Heers at First Things Foundation. Please write the checks. Greek bishops. Give away the money. Give it away. Give it away. Oh Lord.
Yeah. So John's
ridiculous.
You've had an impressive evolution. It used to be hard for you to ask for money.
Give the money away. There's so much money. It's ridiculous.
You're demanding people give the money away.
I don't even care who. Just give it away, please. It's incredible. The kind of things I hear about are like, what? What are you doing? What are you doing?
Bruce Roberts, yes, sir. I'm in a Greek church. Money, money, money. Right there. You see that?
Who said that? Robert?
Bruce Roberts.
Bruce Roberts. This is not about the people. I love you, Bruce Roberts. It's not about the people. There's just so much money. What is it doing? What is it doing? Stop doing that with whatever it's doing. Get it out into give it to the poor. I love
Crispy
you.
Crispy Johnson's got it right there.
Greeks. Dr. Crispy. That's my favorite. By the way, they can be rich. I happen to think they're rich in spirit, but one of them you shouldn't be rich in. Let's go. Give it away. Get it again then, and then give it away, and then get it again, and then give it away. Come on. Oh my God.
Meanwhile, our little Roker English-speaking Paris meets in a community hall while our little house is renovated.
Yeah. Where's Dimitri? No kidding. Roker cracks me up. They're like, they receive half the Greek converts, and then they get no money, and then the Greek converts go back to church and give all their money to the Greek church. It's insane. Why is this the poor Roker? My church right now, my church is up there selling teddy bears so they can put a cross on top of their church. It's so sad. It's like, one more teddy bear, please. It's like these Greeks are sitting on BlackRock dough. It's just brutal. I can't take it. I can't take it. I just can't. I can't take it. I can't take it. I love you. I love you.
All right. Look, we're going to leave with the trailer. And that's it. And then we'll have the normal exit of OE. But I want to throw the trailer for everybody who joined us late. About 200 people joined us late. And that's it, though. We're not going to come back. That's going to be the good night. And then we'll have the OE exit. So, John, thanks for joining us.
Sorry about it, but I got to rant. I had to do that.
You got to go running, and I got to go. So, good night. Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Good night, everybody. God bless. God bless.
Everybody. All right.
Christe Agsta.
What is a Christian? I kind of do this for a living. My name's John Heers, and this is our restaurant. And in this restaurant, we throw this Georgian supra. It's a dinner, and it elicits all these toasts and ideas and emotions. And inevitably, the question comes up, what is a Christian? An evangelist, a missionary, a martyr, a healer, a saint. What is the church? A denomination, a building, an invisible body. What's Christianity? A religion, a way of life, a revolutionary political movement. There's a cultural moment happening right now where the old Christianity has died in many people's hearts. And yet, if you drive around town, you see that it exists. Why is it so different from one place to the next? What you see is not a single Christianity, but Christianities. You see a divided faith, divided by politics, by belief, by whatever. Are you driving by a museum or a social club or something else? What's inside all those buildings? Is there something for you there? Where is God? And if you knew where he was, would you want to go? Is there a Christianity that's growing, or dare I ask, more true than others? We're going to interview people from all over the world, and as we do, I want to go on a journey with you guys and figure it out. Our goal is to investigate how people through the millennia and right now, how they see Christianity. Let's figure out what's going on with all of these Christianities.
Dicam mit Rosek Patron